Hi and welcome to SW Herts Community TV. I'm Carol Dodsley, your host for today, and I have with me the district leader who is Alex Murray. Alex, come and say hello.
Hi Carol, hi viewers, hi listeners later on. How are you? How are you this week?
I'm not so good. I've just had to sort of not to be on Jerry's show for too long because I've actually had to take some painkillers. But you're lucky, Alex, because they've kicked in, so I've been able to come over and host for you.
That's the benefits of being the prime time community TV show. We get it gets tried out and everything gets lined out for 4 o'clock. This is prime time.
Okay, so Alex, tell us, where have you been this week?
My week, in fact, started on Saturday. So it's been a Linkworth kind of ebbs and flows, and there's some days I have a lot of Linkworth stuff, and some days I don't have so much. And Saturday, almost last week, in fact, I was on the market with Chris, as we always do each Saturday, and then it's a great chance for us to plan, because as part of the Order District Leader, it's not just going to events, it's about shaping Linkworth in Watford and developing it, and me taking ideas and going, I've got this idea for X, how do we go about doing it? So I'm there every Saturday. We're starting to get 4 or 5 people each week coming down, meeting us there, knowing we're going to be there. And then the benefit is eventually it'll become a regular Linkworth event on the market, but with the added bonus of you having the ability to get a kind of a guided tour around the market, meeting all the traders. So you can meet the butcher, the baker, the fishmongers, I mentioned the butcher. I want to say candlestick maker, but they haven't got one. You can meet all the traders. They're all lovely people. They all know the products inside out, and they'll be able to tell you if you've got a bottle of wine that you want to do something with, you don't know what cheese it go with. If you've got a bit of meat that you don't really know what veg would go with, they'll be able to help you in the same kind of service you wouldn't get at a supermarket, because these people know their products inside out, and if they haven't got what you're looking for, they're probably going to recommend something that is as good, if not better. With vegetables, especially if it's not an important one for a dish, you may be able to substitute them, and they'll give you something that is fresh.
I think that's it's the fact that it's linking everything together, because it's linking the local traders, it's giving more visibility to the market traders and their knowledge and their skills and what they can offer to their customers. It's bringing people together to have a coffee and a chat and get to know each other, and it's just like multiple benefits of going along to the market on a Saturday morning.
If you're in Watford anyway, I mean, the market is suffering at the moment, and if you haven't been to the market for a while, you'll get a noticeable difference of how different it is, because a lot of the traders are closing, and the market is going to move, and I'll come on to that in the news section, but it's going through a bad time, and we have to support these people until the ones that go to the new market move, or if they're going to set up elsewhere, set up a new place and start again. But they're in this period when they're not moving, but people are thinking they're moving. And, other traders have started to leave because it's dying down. So the more people leave, the less people turn up. So the more people leave, the less people turn up, And it's just becoming a cycle of a catch-22 where people don't come, so traders leave. And we need to support them, and that's why we go every Saturday, and Chris does all the shopping there, as we know.
Yeah, exactly, and everybody else can do their shopping, and you can all share your shopping afterwards over a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there from just before 10 to probably 11:30, and then Chris will go and do his shopping. I'll then head back and sort more worth stuff out, because it's the weekend doesn't stop, because we've all got social media. It's so easy to do stuff with Linkworth. Moving on, we had my coffee this week in Watford. It was in the Watford Regis on Clarendon Road. It was a brilliant event. We had 11 people, a mix of people who had booked in and said they were coming. I got a phone call at 8:30 that morning from a gentleman saying, "Oh, is the Linkworth coffee on Clarendon Road?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm going to be there." Came along. I had met a local councillor from Watford Borough Council at the Queen's Road Street Market about a month ago, and she had booked into the event, and we had a 20-minute one-to-one where she openly said, "If there is something you want from me, a contact, let me know and I will give you it and I'll make the introduction."
Cool. And again, that's something that you don't get in. It's like when I think of normal business networking, you get to meet other businesses and they have their lead speaker or guest speaker, but you don't really get that in-depth community feeling, and that people like your local MP very rarely go along unless they're a guest speaker. This is more sort of informal, but actually more powerful and more effective because you're really getting to know people properly.
Yeah, and she was very good. I mean, it threw me away because she was so open and so helpful that she, in the middle of the conversation, she said, "Oh, if you want to work with charities, which we do with the CSI project," she said, "Are you working with New Hope, which is one of the homeless charities in the area, and probably one of the biggest in Watford?" And I said, "No, we haven't managed to get in contact with them." She picks up the phone and phoned them in the middle of the meeting in this conversation. I went, "I can't," and she goes, "Speak to them." I'm like, "Okay, hello, I haven't got anything ready, I don't want to say." So we've agreed that he's going to email me some dates, and I'm going to get back to him with some dates that are good for me, and we can meet and talk about what Link Forest is doing. And then she needed to do it with the local mayor as well. She said, "Have you talked to Dorothy Thornhill, the mayor?" And I said, "No, not. It's difficult to get hold of her." She picks up the phone again, and I thought, "God, I don't know what to say now." It was she was almost too helpful, and this kind of threw me.
But really powerful because, you know, yeah, putting you on the spot like that is a little bit, ooh, but where else would you be able to go? You know, it's so rare to be able to have those conversations where somebody is so wanting to help because they can see that actually helping benefits everybody in the local community.
Yeah, she definitely saw the benefits of what Link Forest are doing, and emphasised to me that people in the council should be getting more involved, and was talking about that. So hopefully in the next few weeks we'll come back with some big things, having me talk to people and see if we can get some real progress in Watford. We're doing great things, but with the support of the council, what we're doing, that would be brilliant, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just on a side, moving on. Last night I was down in northwest London for East Coast drinks. East Coast is about 10 minutes from Watford, and I didn't have to. It's on the way back from work for me, so I go along because it's quite nice. I was saying last night to go to an event when you're not hosting an event. You having never been to an event at all, but if any district leaders are watching this or any community host, go to an event when you're not in charge. It's a very different feeling because you can just sit there and relax and talk to people without having to worry about hosting and introducing people to Link Forest. You can just talk to people as Alex, not as district leader. It was a very nice feeling for a change.
Yeah, and I think again the fact that so many Link for Growth events are now starting up. There's a lot that have already been launched and they've been there for a while, but there's so many more coming that it doesn't matter where you are around the country. It's like it was quite sort of southernly initially, but now we have Jerry Ridioff with us, and she's actually expanding it at an enormously fast rate. Northern, so we've now got Derby, we've got Penrith coming on board, we've got Newcastle coming on board, you've got everywhere where Jerry is, which is Redcar, Staithes, I think it's called. So it's all moving up the country and opening the events for everybody, and eventually there will be an event, multiple events that will only be a few minutes away from you, so you will be able to go there as a district leader, as a community host or community leader in your own event, but you'll also be able to pop across the road, so to speak, and visit events that other people are doing the work, and you can go as a guest.
Yeah, I mean, I know where we in Southwest Herts, we're in a really good district because I can go either south into London, kind of west over to kind of Harrow and northwest London, and there's events there. There's events up in kind of North Hertfordshire. If that's growing with Hitchin and stuff, and go across east into kind of northeast London and further over to Essex. There's so many events within an hour's drive. You could probably spend every day of a week at a Link Forest event, whether it be a coffee, whether it be a drinks, whether it be a breakfast. And it's not about coming to the Watford events. It'd be great to see everyone at Watford events, but go and try the one in Harrow because it's only 10 minutes on the train. So, but you don't know who people are there going to be because they may not come to Watford, but they may live in Watford, but just don't know about Link for Growth in Watford for some reason. So it's about go out and try an event and then just see what it's like. You may meet new people.
Yeah, exactly. And it is about that community, and it's about building new networks and getting to know other communities so that you know what's happening there as well as what's happening in your own.
Yeah. And I'm moving on to the local news. Speaking of kind of extensions and bringing communities together, I don't know if you saw the news about Crossrail, which is being built in London, kind of connecting, making it easier to travel from across London from east to west and west to east. I don't know if you've heard of Crossrail.
I personally haven't. No, tell us about it.
It's initially it was going to just be like the Central Line in London, going from east to west and just making it easier for people to get to the big tube stations without stopping at every stop. But as of yesterday, plans were announced that they're going to extend Crossrail from kind of central London out into the Watford South West Herts area, which is going to reduce the time to get to places like Canary Wharf and Liverpool Street by about 10 minutes. So it means your journey into work gets quicker. It means you can get home 10 minutes earlier. So I know when my mum used to commute to work, it used to be 2 hours to get from door to door from Bushy to Canary Wharf. And then if you leave the work at 6, you're not home till 8. And it's the little things like that will take some of the time pressures off people, so they have more time to do things in the evening, whether that's coming to the work event. And it will also mean that trains to and from the kind of London Midland line, which comes down from Birmingham through Watford into London, will be quieter because it's an easier way for some people to get into London. And so there's a lot of development there, and hopefully plans will carry on. They're at the planning stage at the moment, and it's not going to be affected anything by the Croxley rail link, which is being done as well. So a lot is happening with connecting Watford into London and make it easier for businesses to come out into the local area.
Excellent. So are there any dates on there? You said they're in the planning stages. Is this something that's going to happen in 5 years' time, or is this sort of like a shorter term project?
Crossrail itself won't be finished until, I think they said 2019, so we're talking probably the next decade or so. But it'd be a great thing for connecting into London, making it easier for people to commute into London, from people from London to get into Watford.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to know that there are longer term things happening that you're finding out about and you can actually share with people.
I always think of this section is I'll read the papers so you don't have to.
I like that. That's good. Yeah, because I don't read newspapers, so it's quite good that somebody else does.
I'll flick through the local papers and all the magazines and pick up the stuff that will be interesting to some people, and then in time hopefully someone might come in and do that as their little role in this TV show. But at the moment I'll read through the papers, find out what's going on in Watford, and then let you know. And I know for anyone this weekend who plans to go into Watford, I would avoid using London Midland because between Hemel Hempstead, which is about 10 minutes north of in Bushy, into Euston itself, that whole line is being service for the next 3 weekends, I believe. So be aware that if you go to Watford or if you go to Bushy or Hemel, just be aware that the trains may not be running as regularly, and so take that into account when you plan to go into London.
Good advice.
What have I missed? Oh yes, you've got about 10 days left for anyone who wants to enter the Women's Centre photo competition, which is a really good opportunity to highlight what the Women's Centre are doing. They do some brilliant work, and I had an opportunity to meet them in their shop on Wednesday. I went in there, I had a little meeting with them, and had kind of a backstage tour and find out exactly what they do. And they do some really good work, and this is just a way of supporting them. So all you have to do is take a picture and put it into the L4G Watford community with the hashtag WWC plus photo, and there you go. That's the community, and if you just go down, I'll see there should be a photo up there. Keep going. But yeah, so it's all on there. That's it. There's the hashtag.
Let me just make that a little bit bigger. Just hang on a second.
I'll carry on talking. Yeah, so they do some really good work. It's so easy to enter. We've all got smartphones or iPads these days. That's weird. I've now seen the picture of my face. That's a bit weird, but yeah. So photo competition. That's what I was talking about. We've all got smartphones, so it's so easy. If you've got the Google Plus app, just take a picture, and 2 minutes later, it's on the community. These are some of the entries from Diane, who I had a meeting with. She and I, along with another company, will be judging the photo, so she couldn't enter these, but these are just some of the pictures she's taken. And there's so many pictures of buildings in Watford that have a history, and the community is a way of us telling people telling each other about what this building used to be. That was an old orphanage, I believe, and all these stories are on the community, and because there's nowhere else to put them. And so the photo coalition came out of the idea of a few people taking pictures. And as Chris says here, we walk past all these buildings, no problem. As we say here, we walk past these buildings daily without a thought, and yet they are really the most amazing, even though even the section of different brick colours is to be admired. So we walk past so many interesting buildings on the High Street and in Watford that we may not know what the history of it is. And there's some brilliant history in Watford. I know I put a picture up of the Watford Museum Wednesday afternoon, and I was curious to know what the history was, because I thought it's quite an old looking building, but I'm sure it's got history. Within 5 minutes, people saying it was the old brewery, it was in the professionals, they filmed stuff here, they did this, this and this, and links to websites. So it's just a way of us having a place to share information. There isn't really anything like that at the moment.
Exactly, and I think some of these pictures, I mean, I'm going to come off screen share again, but they're, you know, just looking at those few pictures there, it's just quite fascinating. And we tend to walk around nowadays with our heads down in a rush to get to wherever it is that we want to go to, whereas if you just stop and have a look around, there is some beautiful stuff to see. There's some great architecture, and I think the photo competition is really, it's not just about, well, now we can show you the architecture, but it's also getting people to come together and talk about their local community and their area and the buildings and the history.
Yeah, there's a few threads of people have said it was a restaurant. It is a restaurant called Tinseltown. It's now a burger restaurant. It used to be a tapas bar. The time before that, it used to be a Mexican kind of cocktail bar. And people each told a story of when they remembered that building to be. So it's just people bringing information together. Moving on, there's a few things happening with people who are interested in Watford. If they're around this weekend and they fancy doing something a bit different from going to the cinema and the typical things, if you're around the Watford Coliseum tomorrow, which is the 9th, they have an open day between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. and there's going to be backstage tours of the Coliseum, a barbecue, and lots of things for the kids. And the Coliseum's one of the big kind of venues in Watford. We've got lots of big acts come to Watford and play the Coliseum. So if you want to have a little backstage tour and check that out, I go along and check that out. Take some pictures, of course, and put them in the community, so other people can't get there, they can still see what it's like to go backstage, and maybe they'll go next time. For any foodies out there, kind of get along to Alderman Country Park tomorrow for kind of a local food market. They're all going to be local traders, I believe, and that's between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. I'm going to go along, I think, and see what the people are there. See A, what they're selling, B, hopefully buy some things, and C, maybe talk about local growth. Because all these traders are probably or local traders who generally probably may not have social media. So we can talk about things like the CSI project, the buy local community, maybe some of the events. Maybe if they sell kind of chocolates and cakes, they maybe bring them along to an event. So I had a gentleman at the coffee on Wednesday who loves the event, but we didn't have any biscuits. So perhaps there's a market for bringing people in with biscuits and cakes that are homemade, and then what better way to sell your cakes than to bring them to the coffee event?
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, so I'm just going to find someone to help bring them along.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Last thing, kind of as of this week, we obviously have the centenary of the start of the First World War, and in both the Bushy Museum, the Watford Museum, and the Bushy Academy, they've got some exhibits about the First World War and how the local areas, so both Bushy and Watford, were affected by it and what it kind of went on. So I thought I've got to go and check out both of them in the kind of coming week. And I think it's just, I want to flag that up because obviously this week being the 100th anniversary of the start of the First World War, it's just something that we should go and have a look, because a lot probably happened that we may not know about, because we probably only know about what we learned at school. And I watched a documentary about how the colonies were affected by the war, and you don't learn this stuff at school, so you won't learn about how Watford was involved in the war at school because they don't teach that. So go along to either the Watford Museum or the Bush Academy and check out what it's like, because you may just learn something.
And I think that was quite an important point. That's a little bit again about go into your local community and look at what's there locally, look at what people are sharing with you. Get more networks with your local community, because you'll actually learn, discover and share so much more than you do in your everyday life without doing that.
I couldn't agree more. I can also imagine that they'll have lots of information, but I would imagine in everyone's loft there'll be that bit, there'll be something, and they'll have that. Oh, we know, if they're looking for something, you may have that book they're talking about, or a photograph of what was the 1950s for an exhibition. It'll just help if you go along and see what they need, because they need our help as well, and we're going to try and work with them as much as we can. But it's about everyone doing a little bit rather than 2 or 3 people doing a lot.
And that's one of the things that I really love, because there is so much good stuff. There's so much community stuff going on across the UK, but you usually find that it is a small group of people, a handful, who have got a passion for something, for making a difference, for taking action. And what Link for Growth is doing is helping to expand that and bring more than a handful of people, and actually everybody working together. And it could be that it's community groups that are a small handful, and they're each doing something slightly different, but in time they're going to actually come together, and it's going to become not just one little project, it's going to become a bigger project that everybody is participating in, that is going to make a massive difference to local communities.
Yeah, and Link for Growth isn't just like, it's an umbrella organisation. Everything falls underneath it. It's not just, there's all the events, of course, there's all the social media, which I'll come on to in a minute, and training. There's obviously all the stuff like Buy Local and L4G Youth and stuff like that. So it's an umbrella organisation which allows anyone, because you don't have to, if you don't want to go to an event, you don't have to. You may just join the community. You may just want to watch this show but not go to an event. You may not want to watch this show, so you wouldn't be hearing me say this now, but you may just want to go to an event. So there's obviously people of different aspects. They may say, I go to an event, but I may not buy local. For me, it doesn't make it easier for me. So it's about giving people a range of options that they may not get elsewhere, and they pick and choose what they want from it.
Yeah, exactly. It's because there never is one size fits all.
No. Anyway, that's thrown me there. I was going to make a joke and I thought I won't, because it might not be funny. So then I stopped, and now I've lost my position.
Have you got any shout-outs this week?
I do. I'll move on to shout-outs before kind of a round-up with what's going on in Watford. Kind of one person and then a group of people shout-outs. I'd like to give a shout-out to Master Mike Bridger. He, great guy. He helps people sleep at night. And if you want to know more, connect with him on the communities and on Facebook. Because I was having this one-to-one with the counsellor, I had a realisation that what happens if there's new people come to the event. At the moment, I have no community hosts or community leaders, and Chris wasn't there this week, so it was very much, if I'm stuck in a one-to-one conversation, I need someone else to help kind of run the event until I'm finished the conversation. So I asked Mike, he was more than happy to help, and I just wanted to give him a shout out to say thank you, because without that, I couldn't have had the conversation which helped develop Link for Growth in the area more.
Yeah, and I just want to correct one of your words there, because you said if I'm stuck in a conversation, which some people might think that you weren't enjoying the conversation, but you were enjoying it. What you really meant there was if you are engrossed in a conversation, yes, then you need other people that can help you with the rest of the event.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I meant. It was a brilliant conversation. Helen, if you're watching, I wasn't stuck there, but if you're stuck in a conversation, that's the phrase everyone uses. The other shout out is for a collective of people. It's not one person. We're calling this Team Watford. I mean, did you know we had the first L4G mingle this week?
I did hear about it. I wasn't able to join it, but I know that it went down really well.
It went really well. A lot of people from Team Watford, which is we're calling my kind of not my core team, but the group of people who come together at the events and are the regulars at events. So you know, if you come to the events regularly, you're part of this little group, and we all came on about half past 8, 9 o'clock. Most of that group are there. People from Italy, with Catherine, who is from the Michael Green Foundation, she's on holiday in Italy at the moment, came across because it was the first one, and she just shows that Watford and South West Herts is kind of really going strong at the moment. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out because we were representing South West Herts at a national level, which was really good.
Awesome.
There's one more. I want to give a shout out to the Watford Women's Centre, because each month they have an artist come in and sell their artwork. They have a range of photos this month of some of New York City and some art of some flowers and stuff. I'm going to go and buy a picture probably either tomorrow or Monday of New York, kind of Central Park. and they have each month they have a range of photos. The pictures are in the community of this month, and just you should go and have a look at it because 75% of the money of the profits sold goes to the charity. So it's a good way of buying a bit of art for a room and also helping the charity.
And I think that's one of the things that I like about local charities is that when they are really local, you know that when you're actually giving your money and you're donating or you're buying and you're supporting, that that money is really being used for the charity, for the topic, for whatever the cause is. Sometimes with some of the big charities, there's only a tiny little bit of your money that actually gets used for the people that the charity was set up for, because they have such a massive infrastructure and so many other people that they pay. So for me, a local charity really has a lot more meaning, and we're doing a lot more good when we support the local charities.
Yeah, and I walked in. You won't get this. I went in the store, and you won't get it to the auction. The first person I saw was the chief executive of the charity in the store at the shop front. You may not get that at Oxfam or all the other bigger charities where you get the CEO manning the shop front. And it's just a way of people going, you can connect instantly with, and you know that they're doing such a good work. So go along, it's on the bottom of Market Street for anyone who doesn't know where it is. Market Street, not the High Street side, the one nearest Vicarage Road. So go along, and if there's some artwork there, they've got some jewellery, they've got some clothes, so have a look there and see if there's anything that takes your fancy.
Awesome.
Move on to kind of next week and a bit of a training update. Next week, I'm back on the market tomorrow morning, so that's from 10 o'clock. We have a coffee in the Mercury on the A41 on Thursday. Again, looking for a few people to maybe help me out with that coffee because I might be busy with the one-to-one again, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the kind of the traditional host role. So I'm looking for maybe a few people to come and say, I'm there, let me give you a hand with that. So if anyone fancies that, send me a message. I can send you some stuff of what you need to tell people and pre-read so you know what you're doing. And if you want to have a copy beforehand, I'll be there. Obviously, we talked about training a bit earlier, but this week we've got 2 training courses. On Tuesday, we have the Facebook with Intent, and on Thursday, we have the Google Plus Intent with Carol, teaching us. So there's no one better to teach you than the person that knows Google Plus the best. They're £25 now for non-subscribers, and I believe it's £15 for subscribers.
Yeah, still 15 for subscribers and 25 if you're not. So the best thing to do is go and get subscribed and then book your place on the workshop.
If you want to go on both workshops, it will cost you £50 if you don't subscribe. It will cost you £36. No, it will cost you £30 plus a subscription. So you may pay a bit more, but you'll get so much better benefit from it if you're going just for the 2 trainings. So I think
you'll only pay a little bit more that first time, because then any future events and training and things that you want to join in as a subscriber, you always get massive discount.
And then lastly, moving on, 2 last things before we wrap up here. A few ideas for new events. I'm throwing these out as tasters. These are not official, and these are mainly in the works. We're talking about a breakfast in Watford, so early mornings, possibly it'll be during the week. So we've got the most events, but we don't have a breakfast event in Watford. So I found a venue. I'm waiting for my university to tell me when my day off is. So that will be I get 1 day a week off. So if that's a good day for me, I'll be putting the breakfast on then. So probably about 8:30 to 10 or 8 to 9:30. So it'll be getting people before they go to the office. I'm also looking at a Sunday lunch in Bushy. I found the pub. I found a potential host, and we're going to use that in a way of a rollover. So you know we have the L4G curry night on the 8th of September. In October we're going to do a Sunday lunch instead, and then the next month it will roll back into the curry. So it'll be every other month there'll be a dinner event. So rather than a drinks, a dinner event. So it may be a curry one month, it may be Sunday lunch, it may be a Thai night, it might be a Chinese, maybe tapas. So that idea of people come together over food and then still talk about link growth.
That sounds quite good, and it's quite nice because then you're also catering for different people who have different likes, because not everybody likes curry, not everybody likes a Sunday lunch. One of the ones that I would like to see you do, not that I can get down there very often, but what about also thinking, if I'm sure you must have somewhere down there, would also be vegetarian options?
Yeah, I can definitely find something. I'll keep an eye and I'll put my scouts out and find somewhere.
Good for you, and let me know, and if I can, I'll actually drive down for that one.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a vegetarian actually, but I do like vegetarian cookery.
Last thing before I'm finished, I wrote last Sunday. I wrote a blog piece about kind of a half-year summary report card of where link growth, almost saying link growth was here in Southwest Herts in January. This is where we are in July. Look at the progress we've made. And going to Christmas, this is what I plan to achieve. So let you know that just because we've had all this has gone on, so you can see we've made progress, but we're not stopping here. There's things in the pipeline. So the idea of having a Southwest blog, so each week someone blogs about the different aspects of Southwest Herts. So music, whether it be arts, music, whether it be food, whether it be sport, not just the footballs, all the kind of smaller teams and stuff. So getting a blog out, getting new events, as we've talked about, getting people to step up and host events. So have a read of that if you haven't read it, because it's a really good way of saying we've made so much progress in Southwest Herts since January. Let's carry on making, let's double that effort, and also throw a challenge out the bottom as well. So if you want to know more about that, have a read. And that's it, really. I'm done.
Awesome. That was an awful lot of stuff in a very short period of time. Well done, you.
For anyone who doesn't like this show, you wouldn't be watching this if you don't like it. So anyone who's watched this and would prefer me to put it onto the blog, I will write another blog this week, because obviously last week we didn't have the show due to my internet connection. I wrote the blog and got some really good feedback from people who said it's easier for me to get the information from the blog than it is a TV show. So I'll write the blog for this week, and if people still want it to carry on, I'll find a way of carrying it on. If not, this will still be here. The blog is an add-on.
I actually have an idea for you there, Alex.
Okay, I'll get my pen out again.
Okay, right. You can embed the TV show into your blog, and what you can do, and this is something that's actually a tip for people who do Google Hangouts, you can go back through the Hangout and you can actually do what they call a timestamp. So you can be writing your blog post from the content, that everything you've talked about in the show. You're basically transcribing the show, but as you're transcribing it, you put the date or the timestamp next to that particular thing. Okay. Which means that then when somebody comes over and reads the blog post, if they want to also listen to you talking about it as well as reading it, or instead of reading it, they can click that date stamp, and that will start the video at exactly that point of the Hangout show.
All right, I will have a play around with that and see what I can do. Maybe come back to you with some questions.
Yep, no problem if you need some help with getting it done. But that is a great way, and that's a great way for anybody who does Hangouts or would like to do Hangouts, and you think, yeah, but some of my audience prefer to read, because there are people who prefer to read. Some people read very fast and they can skim read and just pick up the bits they want to pick up. But you can actually integrate both a Hangout with a blog, and you can also make it so that people that want to watch certain parts of the video can just click and start the video at exactly that time point. And that's something a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's something I was again thinking about, the idea of having each, because you know, as every show we have the 4 sections, and if people may only want to watch the local news section, people may go, because they may not be interested in it, they may have seen this because of the local news, so they may only be interested in that bit. They may only be interested in what's happening next week, because most of this stuff, if they're watching until Monday, most of the stuff on the weekend has been and gone. So they may have been into making sure they know what's up to date then. So that's another thing of having the kind of date timestamp, so people know, can go straight to a certain point.
Yeah, exactly. So people can then just pick up the bit that they really want to. And we can even include, if you do a timestamp transcript, we can actually include that underneath the event, on the event page as well. Mm-hmm. It can go onto a post on your Google Plus page, and you can actually take the post from your Google Plus page and embed it into the blog, so that if anybody wants to comment or ask questions, they can do that, and it will all update itself across everything. So it sort of brings it all together, rather than having, well, we've got this bit here and this bit here and that bit there. Yeah.
Have we got any questions, comments, feedback from anyone this week?
No, we don't have any comments, questions or feedback. They're either out in the sunshine, enjoying the sunshine, or they've been caught, like I was earlier, in a thunderstorm, and it is actually really, really wet.
It's dry here. It's a bit grey, and I did get caught in a bit of a rainstorm. I had some towels out, and I left them outside and went, oh, well, they'll dry eventually. But yeah.
I had a window open and didn't know it had flown right open when the storm started, and my whole window and my carpet are absolutely drenched.
I'll see your story. I left the car window open on Tuesday night and it chucked it down all night. And so I woke up in the morning and got told my inside of my car is absolutely soaking wet.
Oh, lovely.
So the first thing I have to do on Wednesday morning is get a towel and clean my car. So that was a fun way to wake up in the morning. But yeah, a great show, and I really enjoyed this week. And obviously there's lots of happening in Southwest Herts, so there's not a better time to get involved.
Exactly. Okay, so that's it for this week, and we will see you again next week on the Southwest Herts Learn for Growth, Link for Growth Community TV show.